Welcome to the Blanco Wellness Podcast. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, settle in, and let's talk today about something that most people have experienced but few talk about openly. Those moments when life seems to be trying to tell you something. Have you ever thought about someone and then received a message from them minutes later? Or found yourself in a conversation with a stranger who said exactly the thing you had been trying to find words for? Or encountered a book, an opportunity, a person, arriving at a moment so precisely timed that calling it coincidence felt somehow insufficient? Most people have experienced moments like these, and most people, when they do, feel the same brief recognition. Something is worth paying attention to here. The psychologist Carl Jung called these moments synchronicities, meaningful coincidences, events connected not through cause and effect, but through a quality of significance that makes them feel related. He was not claiming they were supernatural or that an external intelligence was arranging events for your benefit. He was observing something about human experience, that certain coincidences carry a weight of meaning that ordinary randomness does not seem to account for, and that these moments tend to appear with particular frequency during periods of genuine transition, when something in a life is changing, when a direction is being sought, when a person is moving towards something important. Whether you experience these moments as spiritual, psychological, or simply curious is less important than what they tend to produce. A quality of attention, a sense of being awake to what is happening, a willingness to notice what might otherwise pass unregistered. The Taoists described the experience of being in alignment with the natural flow of things, what they called following the Tao, as producing exactly this quality. Not the elimination of difficulty or the guarantee of smooth outcomes, but a different quality of movement through life. The right encounters seem to occur at the right moments. Opportunities become visible that were previously invisible. The next step clarifies without having been forced into clarity. The Taoists were not claiming that this was magic. They were describing what happens when a person stops spending most of their available energy fighting against the nature of their situation and begins instead moving with genuine attentiveness through it. When you are not fighting the current, you notice a great deal more about where the current is actually going. Think about the difference between rowing hard against a strong current and steering carefully with it. Both require genuine engagement, genuine skill, genuine attention. But the quality of what becomes visible is entirely different. Moving against the current, your attention is almost entirely consumed by the effort of not being pushed backward. Moving with it, attention becomes available for everything else: the banks, the bends ahead, the other boats, the details that would have been invisible under the strain of resistance. Many of what people describe as synchronicities are, in this sense, things that were always present becoming visible, not because they arrived from nowhere, but because something shifted in the quality of attention available to receive them. The Buddhist explanation moves in a similar direction from a different starting point. When the mind becomes quieter, less occupied with its anxious projections into the future and its ruminations about the past, awareness of the present increases. You begin noticing connections and patterns and possibilities that were always there, but that the noise was covering. You become more genuinely present for conversations, which means you hear things in them that you would otherwise have missed. You become more genuinely available for the moment you are in, which means that when something significant occurs within it, you are actually there to receive it. The signs were always arriving. The question was always whether anyone was home to notice them. There is a story about a traveler who spent years moving through a forest searching for a path, growing increasingly frustrated with each season that passed without finding a clear direction. One day, exhausted by the searching, he stopped. He became still, genuinely still, not planning the next search, not analyzing the previous ones, simply present in the forest as it actually was. And gradually, in that stillness, he began to notice things he had been moving too fast to see. Subtle markers in the trees, a worn quality to certain ground, the way light fell differently on one direction than another. A path had been there all along. He had simply been moving too urgently to perceive it. This is worth sitting with, because it describes something many people experience when they shift from a state of anxious searching to a state of genuine, patient presence. The answer that could not be found through relentless seeking sometimes surfaces in the quiet that follows when the seeking briefly stops. The connection that was not being made becomes visible when the mind is no longer entirely occupied with forcing it. The thing that felt hidden was, in many cases, simply waiting for enough stillness to become perceptible. There is also something worth saying about what synchronicities are not, because the misunderstanding can become its own trap. They are not a substitute for action, not a guarantee of outcome, not a permission slip to stop thinking carefully about your choices. A meaningful coincidence does not mean you have been shown the correct path with certainty. It means something is worth paying attention to. The attention is yours to give or withhold. The interpretation is yours to make thoughtfully. And the action that follows must still be grounded in honest judgment rather than in the expectation that the universe has already arranged everything for your benefit. Wisdom and openness are not opposites. The person who remains genuinely open to what life is offering while also bringing careful thought to what they do with it is considerably better positioned than either the person who ignores everything or the person who outsources all their decisions to signs. The Taoists described alignment, living in a way that reflects what is genuinely true for you, acting from your actual values rather than from performance or fear, as the condition in which the experience of flow becomes available. When who you are and how you live are moving in the same direction, something changes in the quality of daily life. Not because external circumstances necessarily improve, but because the enormous energy previously consumed by the friction between your genuine nature and the life being performed around it becomes available for actual engagement with what is actually there. And in that engagement, things that were previously invisible tend to become visible. As we close today, I want to leave you with a simple invitation. Think about the recent days and weeks. Has anything arrived that carried a quality of significance? A conversation, an encounter, a moment of unexpected clarity, something that felt like it deserved more attention than it received? Not to force meaning onto what might be ordinary, but to genuinely consider what your life might currently be trying to show you, if you were paying close enough attention to receive it. Life has a curious way of guiding those who are paying attention. And perhaps the most important sign of all is simply the quality of attention you bring to whatever is already here. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, be well.